Oh, hi.
Hey there. Okay, looks like we have 2 people coming in. Alright, so we'll wait for a couple more and we'll get started.
My English is bad. So bad.
Oh, that's what we're here for. So don't even worry about it, Serdar. Serdar, where are you from?
I'm from Turkey,
Oh, which city? Ankara?
Istanbul.
Oh, okay. Wow, wonderful.
Yeah, thank you. From
The United States. I'm from the state of Texas.
Texas. Yeah, I like Texas.
Okay, looks like we have...
Yeah.
Let's see. We have, looks like Akin is here, Brenda's back, Bun is here, also Juan Carlos.
Can you hear me?
Hi.
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you.
Hello, teacher.
Hey.
Hello.
Long time no see.
Matthew,
I know, it's like I didn't see you just an hour ago.
Matthew, do you hear me?
Alright, and we have Christian is just joining us now. Excellent. We'll go ahead and get started.
Chris coming.
Okay,
Hi,
guys,
Chris.
so we have a few new faces for me. I don't recognize just a few people, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and let everybody self-introduce each other. Let's go ahead and start over with, if you can hear me, Akin Altunos.
Yeah, I'm here.
Are
Do
you
hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So, Akin, where are you from?
I'm from Turkey, and I am very excited from this subject because of it's my first time in this site.
All right. Well, we're happy to have you. As I come down the list, I want everybody to share their name, where they're from, your education, and what industry you work in, because this is a business class, and today we're going to talk a little bit about the global economy, some very serious topics. For those who don't know me, my name is Matthew. I'm one of the Verbling teachers. I usually teach comedy and expression classes, but I'm also an economics person, I guess, by trade. So I teach a serious subject, I guess, sometimes. So we have Akin from Turkey, who he is particularly interested. Brenda, can you introduce yourself to the class?
I am studying at economical business at Izmir. Do you know Izmir? I can't but I am studying at Izmir about economics.
That's perfect, especially since you're an economics major. I think you'll be able to contribute a lot to this class. And this is the very first time I have ever seen Hun's face. I'm ecstatic about this. Okay, so Brenda, could you tell the class where you're from and your job and where you went to university?
Do you ask me?
Oh no, Brenda, the girl next to you. Go ahead, Brenda.
Okay. Hi, my name is Brenda. I'm from Argentina. I'm a full-time student. And I want to be an English teacher, so that is why I'm here in Berlin, to improve my English.
Good.
So
you're an education major in university?
this is my first year, so...
You have not chosen a major yet? That's fine.
No.
Yeah. That's pretty normal. Christian, how are you doing, sir?
Doing good, man.
All
I'm
right.
Christian. I'm from Argentina as well. I have 24 years old, and my major is software engineering. I'm also working as a software developer. I have 3 years of experience. I really like to talk with clients, so that's my course. That's the purpose of this course.
That's wonderful. We're happy to have you here. This Verbling is actually a software startup, so it's very wonderful to have somebody in the field here. All right, and Ms. Hun Nguyen, would you please introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Nguyen. I'm from Vietnam, and I'm 22 years old. When I was in college, I studied economics, so I think this is the best place for me.
All right, wonderful. I think we have so many economic challenges here, and I'm very happy that we have seen so many qualified people. Joseph Alejandro, how are you doing, sir? ¿Qué onda?
Fine, thanks. I'm from
All
Colombia,
right.
and I'm studying industrial engineer, system engineer at the same time. And I also work in a garment industry, and no more.
Okay. Wonderful. So we have some people with government experience. Excellent. Juan Carlos Alvarez, how are you, sir?
Hi, I'm good. My name is Juan Carlos. I'm from Mexico. I'm a mechanical engineer, and basically I'm working on services.
Wonderful. Which state are you from in Mexico, Juan Carlos?
Veracruz.
Veracruz. Oh, that's so wonderful. Let's see. And then after you, Osiel, how are you, sir?
I'm doing fine, man. Thank you. I'm from Brazil. I'm studying science computer. I'm living in Brasilia right now. Brazil is the capital of the country, and I'm working in a company and I'm just fixing computers, no?
All right. Wonderful. Right. So you're not only a computer engineering major, but you're also repairing computers right now?
Yeah, repairing computers, yeah. I'm studying the college to science computer in my work, and I'm working at a company and I'm just fixing computers of the company.
And I think what a wonderful country to be working in right now. Brazil, as we will talk very shortly, is probably going to be a major world power in modern political economy.
I hope so.
I think so.
I hope so.
Mr. Selim, how are you, sir?
Hey, good. How about you?
Doing wonderful. Can you introduce yourself to us?
Sure. I'm a computer scientist. I live in New York, but I'm from Turkey originally. Actually, the reason why I joined this conversation was to see whether it fits my father, because my father is trying to learn English. So I joined and, listened to one of your lessons, the one before this. Pretty interesting, so I'm really impressed.
For those of you who did not know, my lesson before this was a comedy class about dating and relationships. So this is a slightly different topic.
So related.
Actually. Yes, I'm surprised. I think I may disappoint some people, maybe.
Dating science?
Not at all. Serdar, would you mind introducing yourself for the whole class? Serdar, can you hear me? Mr. Erman? I think he's not. I don't have his attention. This is sad. Oh well. That is okay. So today we're going to discuss the global economy and some of the very big changes and challenges we face going into the 21st century. A little bit of my background in economics. Some of you know me from my comedy classes. My major in university was political science, and then my master's degree was political science and economics. My specialty is actually laws relating to trade and importation and finance and investment. Half of my professional life has been as a school teacher. The other half of my career is I work in Congress or the legislature, the state legislature, helping design financial and trade laws for my home state of Texas. So I come to economics from the government background, the government economic policy background. And happy to have everybody here. I've taught first-year university level economics courses, and I'm very excited to have so many people of many different professional backgrounds and education in this course today. So the first thing I want to discuss is I'm very happy we have individuals from the Middle East, Latin America, and Southeast Asia here today. Let's go around. This is just very informal. Whoever wants to speak first. What do you, in your opinion, what do you think is the greatest economic challenge facing your country right now? Anybody can go first. Is everybody that shy? Come on. You're not that shy about talking about dating, and now suddenly we discuss bad economy and everybody's nervous. So what is the biggest challenge economically for your country?
Let me go first then.
Yes.
Since I live in the U.S., that's my primary concern right now. So I would say the biggest challenge is the U.S. debt, which is, I think, $16 trillion.
Oh, don't remind me. Yes, you're absolutely correct. I think what our friend in New York is bringing up is that the United States has an enormous national debt. And actually, in about 30 days, our Congress and President must find a compromise to finally secure our country's finances, or else we will automatically have large tax increases to pay for our debt. So it's kind of a nervous month right now for us. I agree. I'm also a little interested in America's economic health as well. I'm also particularly worried because if the United States is not stable economically, it will affect the rest of our trade partners, which is the rest of the planet. Yeah, every single country. I think we can all agree. I admit my country spends a lot of money, but I do want our finances to be healthy so everybody else is going to be okay. Marianne, actually, in the Verbling chat, brings up an interesting point for our Brazilian friends. She says Brazil is going very well so far. I would actually agree. Brazil's economy is really beginning to take off lately. And Khan is also bringing up Europe. Is anybody aware of the European financial crisis right now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of mess in Greece and Spain.
Yes, and Greece and Spain. Does anybody want to, in their own words, describe what's happening to Greece right now?
Oh.
Go for it.
Algo.
Don't cry about it, but just you should go ahead and try to explain, Christian.
Yeah. I had a friend that was German, and he can explain me that Greece that Germany lent a lot of money in things called bonus. I don't know.
Bonds.
Bonds.
In English, we call them bonds. I'll explain a little about them, but that's correct. Continue, please.
To Greece and the other major countries of Europe, and they asked for money that I can bring the words.
It's very difficult because it's not your subject, not your career, and that for that.
Yeah, I'm touching this.
But it's actually important that we all consider, because even if you're not an economics major, the economy is all of us. So I think Christian's bringing up a very good analysis of Greece. Basically, that Germany bought a lot of Greece's bonds to give them money, and then the Greek bond. A bond, by the way, is basically the same thing as kind of an. It's like an IOU. I'm going to give you some money now if you give me money later. And so, yeah, Germany took some bonds from Greece, and Greece promised to give money back later, like a credit card. And Greece did not pay back.
That's exactly
yeah,
what
but not only
say.
German, not only German, also the other countries, something like United States, also buy that bonds.
And he also explained me that Germany is having a huge debt as well.
Yes,
and
unfortunately.
That's a little bit crazy because it's one of the most powerful nations in Europe.
Yes, and definitely the largest economy in the European Union. Definitely.
It's like the big muscle.
Yep, it's we usually say it's the engine that drives the EU, the economic engine. And we're very worried also about Spain and Italy. About Spain and Italy as well. So I think that's a very good analysis. It makes me sad because I used to live in Sweden for a little while, and Sweden's economy is quite good, but its neighbors are suffering so much, which makes it's very shameful. I think.
Yeah,
Sweden, Finland, those countries are very good.
Yeah, they're fantastic, actually.
Yeah, I guess it's because of their coldness to do their choices.
Maybe so. And that's thankfully the United States has avoided a similar situation as Greece, but we're very concerned if the Republican-controlled Congress does not compromise with our Democratic Party President Obama. Our debt will still be paid, but automatically, instead of fixing the budget, it will just automatically create new taxes to pay for the debt, which will hurt our economic growth. I think many people are very worried about this right now.
Somebody has to pay.
Yeah, somebody has to pay, and either we pay by being very smart and compromising and making a budget that is a compromise, or we pay by raising our taxes in a very painful way. Either way, America will pay its debt, but it'll either be a easy repayment or a painful one. So we have to pray that Congress and the president can compromise.
Yeah, it's difficult.
How America? I'm sorry. How the United States overcome the huge bankrupt in the 2008?
That's a very good question. I can explain the housing crisis myself, but I would like to. Sure. We just got a question. How did the United States have its financial crisis in 2008? 2008 financial crisis. I think some of our economics majors, like Aikeen or like Miss Nguyen, can probably explain too. I will give my small part. It has to do with what's called in English real estate or property.
Yeah.
The property market. What happened was
the break.
Yes, that
the mortgage, no?
Yes, and mortgages. Mortgages are a kind of loan that you can give to buy a house, and what happened was many banks gave mortgages to people with very poor credit, and they could not afford. And it's not the person's fault.
No,
the bank's job is to check your credit, and they did not check their credit, and they just gave the money. And these poor people, unfortunately, lost their homes, and many lost them at the same time. And it caused the property market to crash. And that took our banks, it made our banks lose a lot of money, and then that affected everything else. So suddenly, overnight, the United States economy collapsed.
Yeah, but that could because of the, I don't know, corrupt person. I think for that, because the main person of the Wall Street have a lot of money in that moment. After the 2008, they have a lot of money, because of that.
Yeah, and it was a very big shame. I still remember I was living in Stockholm at that time, and I watched from Europe. I was watching my home country's economy collapse, and it was so sad. That was one of the reasons Barack Obama was elected president, was off of that crisis occurring under the Bush presidency. I wanted to ask any of our economics majors, Ms. Wen, is there any analysis you could give us about the U.S. Financial crisis, how it affected the rest of the planet?
How would it affect the rest of the planet?
Yes.
I don't remember clearly that time anymore. But it's like when the crisis takes place, a lot of American people they didn't spend as much as they spent, and at the time I remember our country was suffering from high inflation, but suddenly we have to, like, the whole world falls into crisis, and it's like, I don't know, but we are from high inflation, and suddenly we have to spend a lot of money to the economy. It's like, I don't know.
Mr. Khan, would you mind muting your? Thank you very much. You guys just know automatically. I don't even have to say. Oh, I love you. Yes, Mr. Khan, could you please turn down your volume? Thank you, sir. So what I think you bring up a good point, is we have, I use this title global economy for this class, because really we are not 200 little economies anymore. All of our nations are interconnected. We may be 190, 200 independent countries or states, but we all share one common market now, almost. And when one of us gets sick, everybody else does too. So the United States, Ms. Hun is right. After the 2008 crisis, Americans stopped buying things. And we joke all the time that Americans, we just buy things so much. But our purchasing actually drives the global economy. So when we stopped, bad things happened, of course. And I think this is a pretty good analysis. But let's be optimistic. Let's think of some of the big changes that are happening in the world today. Does anybody want to talk about some of the what countries besides China? Because already we know China is going to be very dominant. What are some other countries that we think will become very powerful economic engines? Anybody want to say?
South Korea.
South Korea, I agree. Yes, definitely. Why do you say so?
Because they has a good political, legal, I don't know how to say, a good government. They don't have a corrupt in this kind of situation. And he has, they invest in a lot of technologies. They don't have a lot of materials because the tierra of the ground is very poor, but the technology are very good. For that, for me, Korea is South Korea.
I agree. To be honest, until I lived in Korea, I did not appreciate how developed their economy was. But after being there, it was absolutely. I think it has a lot of setting as a economic power. In fact, the United States and South Korea now have what's called an FTA, or. See, Mr. Khan, could we mute your phone? Thank you very much. We have what's called the United States and Korea have what's called a free trade agreement. Yeah. Does anybody know what a free trade agreement is?
Lower taxes.
Yeah, no taxes, no tariffs. That means no tax on our goods. So the U.S. and Korea, we don't tax each other's goods. So we sort of married our two economies together. Oh, we're married.
You can get married with a lot of countries. Which excellent.
Like, for example, the U.S. and Juan Carlos and I, our two countries have a free trade agreement as well through NAFTA with Canada. Also, we have a free trade agreement with Colombia. We do not have one with Vietnam yet, Ms. Nguyen, but we're in negotiation to have one with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with Argentina and Brazil as well. I hope the one for Brazil, that would be so lovely, because that is a big market. Sorry.
Weird things are happening in Argentina.
You can eat a lot of bananas without tariffs.
Yes, I feel so sorry for your economy lately.
Lately, it's been in that way since forever, because the 90s was just living in a dream, because we sell our goods, we sell our resources. That's why we thought we were in a great situation, but now we are suffering the consequences of that.
You have I believe, a rather large unemployment rate. Is that correct?
Yeah, sadly, yes. I don't know the numbers, the statistics. The media is saying that there is a lot of unemployment, as well as I don't know how much increase was.
Our country is divided. If you think, because you have the government, and the government also have an issue with communication, especially with one, which is Clarín. So
yeah, that's a hard topic.
On the I don't know how to say this. 678, that is televisión pública, public television. They say that
TV
one thing, and that is a TV program. And if you pay attention to Clarín, they say another thing. So it's a problem.
Yes, I remember when I was younger, people would consider Argentina a rising economic power, but actually, just before I was born, the previous government under was it Perón?
Perón.
Yeah,
Yes.
Perón. Yeah, I think he was able to. Unfortunately, a lot of his economic planning was very short-termist. I think he was designing just for short-term growth. Yes. And Marianne brings up an interesting topic as well, that this actually could benefit Argentina as well. Many people would hope that the World Cup is going to stimulate Brazil's economy and tourism. But I think that Ms. Nguyen is right, that Brazil already probably has going to have a lot of stimulation due to the Olympics being there.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so. Oh, Christian, Brenda, you sound so sad.
Yeah,
it's sad.
because,
In so many ways. You have no idea. For an Argentina, it's sad.
I know, but
probably we are just whining because we have, I don't know, in my case, I have a job, I have an apartment, but if you start thinking in long-term decisions such as your house, your car, and those kind of things, the same, I believe the same happens in America for the average citizen. It's kind of impossible to think in a long term, because you don't have so much liquidity to start a business or start investing in liquidity, right? In real estate or whatever investment you wanted to do to increase your I don't know how to say patrimonio, no?
I understand.
Could be.
I think so too. To increase the size of your investment portfolio.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your revenue.
Yep. And I mean, that's one thing that affected me as I was growing up. I initially was not going to be a teacher. I wanted to go into finance, even though I make financial law. I've made financial law in the government. Of course, I don't, because of American corruption laws. I'm kind of forbidden. If I work in the government, of course, I cannot invest. So because there cannot be a conflict of interest. But just looking from this side, I realized as a teacher, my salary is just middle class. You know, my income is just average, and I can try to save a little bit to put in my retirement, but it makes me really appreciative. I mean, with what I have, but I wish so much that we did have the capacity to invest in property, and maybe I could have a house on a lake where my grandchildren can go swimming when I'm older. Hopefully. We'll see. I think we're all too young to be too pessimistic. Yeah.
No, I'm not feeling pessimistic. I'm just trying to do an objective analysis of what are your your choices to invest. Probably in my area, it's a little bit easier to create a startup or provide consulting. You just need an internet connection and a computer, and you can start your company right there. That's a great thing. I believe if something needs to work, it's more engineers and more people that don't transform things in money. People that create money, create something valuable.
Yes, I think so.
I don't know if I made myself clear. I'm maybe tired.
No, not at all. I think it's understandable that, and I think that's a good benefit is the. I think the fact that Argentina's business laws have become more
restrictive.
Hopefully can become less restrictive over time. Brazil's financial laws, I'm a little worried because even though Brazil's economy is very good, its tax laws and business regulation laws are very confusing. And that keeps foreign investment from being able to invest easily there. I once looked at all the taxes and government documents necessary for an American company to invest in Mexico and to invest in Brazil, and the difference is Mexico, Brazil. This big difference. Not possible for me. Too much. I'm not a lawyer. I cannot do that. Yeah. I see we have a new person.
But the political side are better to lawyers for me. Because they have a lot of, I don't know how to say, the ideas to change the way to see the world.
Mm-hmm. And we have a new person. Mr. Wolf, are you there? Oh, no, can't hear him, but I know he's watching us. Oh,
can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Wonderful.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear, sir.
Okay, I can hear you.
All right, let's see. I think that may mean everybody finally has a working connection. Oh, that would be so wonderful. Okay. So our discussion of the global economy has gotten a little depressing, understandable. Let's go ahead and try to think about the positives. Let's think about the changes in industries that we've existed. For one, I can tell you from the standpoint of education, I think it's so exciting that we have startups like Verbling that enable me to reach out to students like this. It's like I was telling Michael, he's one of the CEOs of this company. I told him I've been a teacher. This is getting into my 4th year of teaching. I've been a teacher since I was 22. I'm 26 now. Oh, I'm old. And
Oh, don't say that.
very. And I told him I've never had as much fun teaching. I've taught in a middle school, elementary school, university, and then online with Verbling, and I've had the most fun here on Verbling because it's so unique and revolutionary. I really think that the global economy is completely being changed by the internet and technology these days.
Yeah, you can learn a lot
I
of
agree with
things
that. I like it.
Yeah, I like it. I think our generation is very happy about this. I think so.
The generation X, right?
We would be Gen Y, I think so.
The new generation, yeah, right.
Let's
And
see.
the new generation is
My friend up in New York, Mr. Salim, your business. What challenges have you faced with your work in software in New York?
Well, actually, I work for a company in California. So, so the question is like, what kind of challenges that I have in my job, or
in your industry?
Well, I don't know. Frankly, I think everything seems to be, to put in a positive way. I mean, the communication, you can work from home, you can work remotely, like you just suggested, which is what I'm doing. So I'm really amazed by the Verbling. Like right now, I think it's a perfect way of learning a new language. I'm really very surprised. But the technology makes that really, very easy right now. It is amazing. I remember the times when the screens of the phones, the mobile phones, were black and white, and now you have an iPhone with it's crazy. I even remember the times with the internet. So I mean, it's an amazing advancement with technology.
Yeah, I definitely think so. Mr. Akin, you haven't spoken in a little bit of time, so could you share some of your thoughts about how technology is changing the global economy?
I have some problems about my voice. Do you hear me?
We can hear you, and if you have a voice problem, we will just be quiet so we can make sure we can listen.
Thanks.
Okay. Let's see. Can you still? Are you still able to answer, or are you having a difficulty still?
I have some problems about your heart. Okay. Some voices problems.
Okay, no problem. We can come back to you in a little bit when your connection is stronger. It's no problem.
Thanks a lot.
No problem. What about you, Mr. Mehdi? First off, I haven't got a chance to say hi to you. How are you, sir? Mr. Goruk?
Yeah. Sorry. Are you speaking of me?
Or, Ufi. Or which one? Our gentleman with the green screen? Is that,
Yes, I can hear you, yeah. I'm sorry, but I'm mistaken. Okay, I'm the one, the green one, yeah.
Oh, what is your name, sir?
My name is it's Tim. It's not important. You can say call me Tim.
Tim? Well, where are you from, Tim?
I'm from Turkey.
All right. Which city? Istanbul, Ankara?
Istanbul.
Oh, wonderful. And what industry do you work in?
Actually, I'm not working at the moment. I am full-time unemployment.
All right. Wonderful. Let's see.
Yeah, wonderful. I see.
But in our class here, we've been talking about the global economy and just discussing how technology is beginning to change everything. First off, we have somebody new. Carlos, how are you, sir? Carlos, you have some background noise in your. Carlos, you have some background noise in your microphone. Could you turn it down, please? Okay, we'll come back then. I know some people have had some connection issues. That's okay. We'll be patient with it. Okay, guys. So what we're going to do? Yes, guys. If you have some loud noise in your background or your microphone is acting strangely, just mute it until you can talk, and then there's no problem. Okay? No problem. All right, guys. So we've talked a little bit about how technology is changing everything. I still remember, for example, the very first instant message I ever gave. That was in April 1996, and the computer was very old-fashioned and very old style. That's right. That's right. It was in Christian's correct. It was in IRC. I still remember. Let's see. Guys, if you could, let's try and mute Carlos a little bit, because I know he's trying to work on his microphone. Yes, there we are. Thank you. So, yeah, I was in IRC, and I thought it was the coolest thing because I could talk to somebody from a different city. Not another country or a state, but just another city. And now, here we are.
Seeing each other. Hearing each other.
I know. I still remember the very first time. I still remember the very first time that I ever taught or ever saw somebody on a webcam. I thought it was the most amazing thing in the world. It was my mother was in Russia, and she was speaking to me on a webcam, and we all thought that was the most amazing thing.
Yeah, it's totally free.
Yeah, it's totally free, and you can talk to anybody.
You don't have to pay anything. Yeah, if you compare 20 years ago, if you want to contact with your relative or your friends in another country, you have to pay a fortune. You know, now it's totally free. I think it's the best thing about internet.
Yeah, I think it's changing the world. I mean, national barriers really don't matter as much as they did.
It's break the social barriers, actually.
Yeah. It helps break down barriers between cultures and society. Let's think about not just economically, but politically. How do you think the internet has affected things in the Middle East recently with the Arab Spring? Because that's a huge economic factor. The Middle East is not only a major source of oil, but it's also one of the richest parts of the planet. So, how has technology changed things?
Do you believe Arab Spring?
What do you? I'm sorry.
Do you believe Arab Spring?
What about the Arab Spring?
You talked about Arab Spring in Middle East.
Yes.
Do you believe in that?
That there's a rebellion in the Middle East? I mean, as a fact, yes. Is it going to bring democracy? Nobody knows. I don't think.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think anybody. I'm not sure if it will bring democracy. I have to be cautious. I think so. But economically, there have been consequences. For example, Egypt right now, as we know, has had a major political crisis with the new president, and that's actually scared off a lot of business investors because they don't want to invest in an unstable economic climate. I feel a little worried about Egypt these days. I love that country, and I'm a little sad that they are having some difficulties. Mr. Khan, what country did you say you're from again? Mr. Khan Sen? Are you there?
Sorry, I can't understand you.
I wanted to ask you, what country did you say you're from?
I'm from Turkey.
Oh yes, that's right, from Turkey. I think, I mean, of course we know there's a lot of violence in the Arab Spring, but I wonder, if it could create democratic governments. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Most of people believe it's not a real democracy for Muslim countries. It's only democratic Muslim countries is Turkey. Arab people so Islam, so big has Islam, not like Turkey. Democracy is changed the culture. For example, not things the American democracy and USA democracy. What are we talking about? Which democracy?
Well, if you have to remember, democratic government is very different depending on culture. For example...
Yes, of course, because we have different cultures.
Yes, so I think, I mean, this isn't a I will have a debate class for politics. I don't want to necessarily change the topic, but I think we can agree if there is a democratic system that develops in the Arab world, it will definitely be a different flavor of democracy than is in Turkey or Great Britain or the United States. For example, Ghana, of course, is a majority Muslim country in Africa, which is a democracy, and we will have to. But I think we need to go ahead and move to stay on economics. Let's not get derailed by politics.
Yes. But you know, Islamic countries, especially Arab countries, has lots of petrol. The petrol has a need all over the world. It's the first thing for democracy.
Because of the petrol. What did you say again?
Petrol is most important for all of the world.
Sure.
This so that democracy comes to that country. I want to say that.
Yeah, I think it will have to see what's going to happen. To be honest, as a political science teacher, I cannot say. I'm not necessarily sure what will occur, to be honest with you. If there is, like I said, if there is a democratic reform, I think definitely it will have a special Arab cultural context to it, a special flavor of its own. Just like Koreans have their own form of democracy, Americans, our friends in Brazil and Mexico and Argentina have their own. Even the United States, our form of democratic government is very different from Canada, even though we're very, very similar cultures. So we'll have to see. I do think this instability in the Arab world now is helping create some nervousness in the world because it is a major source for oil, and so maybe the current crises in the Middle East is making economic recovery a little harder for the rest of the planet, probably. And I think we have a news gentleman. Is this Edge or Egg or Mr. Agar or Agar? How are you, sir? The gentleman with glasses, how are you?
Gone.
Oh, he left. You guys scared him off. He's like, nope. Me, I'm going... He'll come back. He'll come back. I'm not too worried. Let's switch our focus from the Arab world to East Asia. Let's talk about the rising stars: India, China, Vietnam, Indonesia. What do you guys think is going to happen as Asia becomes a more dominant economic power?
Oh, that is difficult. I see that as a game theory. When I see that, I see a lot of, I don't know how to say, patterns. No, theory. I see a lot of theory, and one of that say that if you invest on technology, you can raise your country. But that is on a decrease in the all of the years. when you invest on the technology, you can rise, but in that point, for me, China has a final point in, I don't know, 2015, and for after that, they have to decrease the economy.
Hmm. Yes, I definitely agree with you. I think just because they're having a lot of economic growth, it doesn't mean that necessarily everything is going to go according to, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're destined to always be an economic superpower, just like the United States. Just because we are necessarily a strong economic power now, it doesn't mean we always will be. Although I probably think we'll always be a dominant power. Probably we're not going to be the world's only superpower forever. Who knows if that's good or bad. But I'm very interested to see how Southeast Asia forms, especially in Vietnam. Very recently, Vietnam's inflation has decreased, and its trade has begun to increase again. And also India. Ms. Nguyen, from your perspective, what do you think is the strength of your country's economics?
I don't think our country has any strength at all, because I can only see that our economy is suffering from a lot of problems, like high inflation and also national debt. And the only thing that makes us grow is the FDI, and money flows in and it will flows out completely. So if we don't improve our productivity, our country will never be like a dummy. Like I don't know how to explain.
Some of my Vietnamese friends say that your country has a strong economic foundation, but that there's a lot of corruption in the government, and so that keeps things from being it keeps the economy from growing as much as it can.
Yes, I also think so, because we try to have like state-owned corporations, and they're supposed to drive the economy to grow. But right now they are suffering from a lot of debt, and actually it drags our economy down. And I don't think big corporation is a good idea anymore. So they should be, they should be dismissed.
Yes, the United States has some public corporations, but just for the basic public services like the postal service or some electricity companies are public, and that's it. And of course public schools, but I mean, for example, like factories and services and goods, of course, it's a free market economy.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I believe free market is better in this case.
I agree. I mean, there are some things that the government should do, like provide for education, and maybe we can agree or disagree on healthcare or some basic things like postal service. But for goods and services, I think you're right. Probably we have to work hard to reform some of our countries, like North Korea, for example. Oh my God, that country could be very rich, but it has a terrible bloated government with just inefficient public services. And Tim, I think you were going to talk about market economics. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry I interrupt you. Just I want to say, yeah, you're talking about South Asian economy, yeah? I think it's the main problem in the South Asian economy. You mentioned also about factories and services. You mentioned is good, it's good, but because it's a main problem, I think like United States or Europe countries, some Europe countries, in my opinion, exploit South Asian labor, cheap labor. You know, if you look at the Asian and Vietnam, Asia, China, especially if you look at that, is a factories based is American company, and I mean is American factories. For example, is a famous label open up factory, not opening the factory in United States. Prefer the South Africa because they, I think, exploit cheap labor. It's a, I don't know. What do you think about this?
This is a good topic to end on. This is, of course, one of the controversial topics of free trade. Even though most of our countries that are developed, like America...
Sorry, free trade, it's okay. Exactly, I'm asking you, I'm telling you, I'm asking you.
Yes.
No. Why is trade is free? Why is labor stuck in one country? For example, why is China's other labor is okay? Go ahead.
Sure. But the academic term we would still use is free trade. That's the professional term we use, whether you agree or disagree with whether it's good or not. And this is actually one of the controversial topics of free trade is, of course, even though the United States, we are a developed country, in the past, we went through a period where we had sweatshops and we developed over time into a modern country. And the big question is, should these large and developed nations that have labor standards and worker safety laws, should they still, isn't it maybe, how to say, it may be hypocritical that they have factories overseas where workers have less regulation, or they have less, how to say, less labor safety codes or standards because the country that they're in doesn't have the same level of labor safety. Okay. And especially with a lot of labor exploitation in Southeast Asia, like in, we could say, Vietnam, and also in Latin America with the maquiladoras. Tim, this would be a Latin American version of a sweatshop, you would say. That's in Mexico. That was created as a result of the free trade agreement that Mexico and the United States have. I agree. I think this is a very difficult topic to wrap around, and there's probably not an easy answer one way or the other, because at one point we could say that it's immoral and wrong, but at another point we could also say, well, this sweatshop is providing, even though it's terrible by Western standard, it's providing a higher salary than local jobs in these countries, so maybe it's okay. But then we could argue it's still wrong because the labor standards and the exploitation is, in many cases, very disgusting. I personally don't have an easy solution. As an American, I do generally support free trade and capitalism, but this is a very serious topic that has to be approached in public policy and requires, I think, an international solution rather than the legislation or laws of just one country. Yeah. I hope that answers, if that answers your question.
Yeah, it's okay. No, I'm just asking. It's okay. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. Guys, this was a very, very serious debate and discussion. I'm very happy that we had this. One thing I think we noticed is our Verbling community has many different industries, many different kinds of professionals in our community, and many different people with a lot of backgrounds. We have different beliefs, different experiences in the workplace. And I think these business classes are going to be very interesting as we specialize in specific industries and talk more about local and global economy. As a reminder, we're going to have more classes beginning tomorrow. There's going to be April, I think, is going to be doing one. I'm probably going to be doing more. So is Courtney, I believe, as well. we're going to continue to diversify these, but excellent work today. I was really happy to have these discussions today, and just very impressed by the amount of professionalism that we have among our Verbling students. I'm very humbled to be able to speak with so many of you. Thank you so much for such a stimulating discussion.
Thank you, my friend.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yes.
Good
This
night.
was fantastic. Good night,
Good night,
everybody. I'll
Thanks
see you
to you.
tomorrow.
Good night.
Nice to meet
Good night.
you, man.
Bye.